Hi, I'm Houston Mallette, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover, good to be with you today in studio in Tuscaloosa before I hit the road to Hattiesburg, Mississippi for Alabama baseball coming up tonight at Southern Miss. But it's great to have you with us on the show as we take a look at what's coming up with Alabama men's and women's basketball. We'll start by taking a look at what's coming up in the program, then our headlines thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's coming up with the show this afternoon. First of all, starting with men's basketball, Houston Mallette joined us at the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center in our podcast studio for a fascinating one-on-one conversation with one of the key leaders of the Crimson Tide men's basketball team. Speaking of that men's team, picked up an impressive win in Baton Rouge on Saturday. We'll listen back to Chris Stewart on the call of all the men's basketball radio highlights from the LSU victory. Then we'll hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide women's basketball team, Kristy Curry, with some post-game thoughts after Alabama women's basketball got a great win at Florida on Sunday. Then we'll round out the show with Chris Stewart and Nate Oats with a Hey Coach replay from last night. For the men's basketball team, an impressive 7-point win against LSU as the Crimson Tide keep rolling and rolling at 5 victories in a row for Nate Oats and the Crimson Tide. Now Alabama ranked number 17 in the AP poll. And also some cool news for Nate Oats. He has been named to the Team USA coaching staff for the Team USA under 18 coaching staff. So working with some of the best high school prospects in the nation, he'll be an assistant on that staff that is led by head coach Anthony Grant. Yes, a former coach here at the University of Alabama. So cool experience coming up for Nate Oats in the future with Team USA. Alabama men's basketball coming up tomorrow night, home against a very good Mississippi State team. 8 p.m. will be the tip-off. Our coverage on the network will start at 7 o'clock here across the network. We can't wait to be back at Coleman Coliseum for Alabama men's basketball. For the women's team, they have some time away from Tuscaloosa coming up, including this past Sunday, picking up a dominant 76-71 win. I say dominant. Alabama led for the majority of that ball game, but things got tough in the third quarter, fourth quarter. Florida went in front by as much as 6 points in that game, but really Jessica Timmons spurred Alabama on down the stretch, scoring 15 of her 34 points in the fourth quarter, hitting huge three-pointers, I believe 7 for the ball game, some critical and ones as well. Tremendous performance by Timmons, picking up a new career high with what she did on Sunday in Gainesville. Alabama remains as pretty much all season long. The Crimson Tide have been in the top 25 at number 24 and now number 5 on the screen. Yes, the Vanderbilt Commodores will be the opponent coming up on Thursday night in what will be the final road game that Alabama plays in this season. 6:30 to tip off from Nashville. Over to the Diamond, where things keep going well for both softball and baseball. The softball team in the top 10, according to every single poll in college softball. They went 4-0 in Tallahassee. Great performances, especially against the host of that tournament, Florida State. So good work by Team 30. Now they're back at home coming up this week for the T-Mobile Crimson Classic. We look forward to all those games coming up on the network, as well as later today, Alabama softball against UAB at 4 o'clock. For the baseball team, Alabama swept Rhode Island over the weekend, including a doubleheader sweep on Saturday. Now the Crimson Tide with the midweek contest tonight at Mississippi State before this weekend heading to Frisco, Texas for the Frisco College Baseball Classic. Great games coming up against Oregon State, Houston, and Iowa on Friday for the Crimson Tide. So we look forward to seeing Rob Vaughn, what his team can do away from Tuscaloosa for the second time this season, but really the first full week away from home coming up this year for Alabama. Crimson Tide gymnastics team made Auburn their home on Friday, picked up an impressive win over the Auburn Tigers, and now the third-ranked Crimson Tide on Friday will take on the second-ranked Tigers of LSU in Baton Rouge. What a matchup that's going to be. We'll talk more about that later in the week. Alabama at LSU and a top 3 showdown, numbers 2 versus number 3, coming up later on this week. Also was announced by the Crimson Tide football team that the opener for the 2028 season will be a home game against Georgia State. So we look forward to that inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium to begin the 2028 season. Of course, this season, 2027, will open at home week 1 against East Carolina. Also coming up shortly, all eyes will be on Indianapolis for the NFL Scouting Combine, and 12 Crimson Tide players will be there, including quarterback Ty Simpson. So look forward to seeing what's coming up at the Scouting Combine in Indianapolis coming up later on this week. Well, now we turn our attention to basketball, and we start with men's basketball on this show with thoughts from Houston Mallette, Crimson Tide guard and an outstanding senior on this team. We recorded this interview a week ago at our podcast studio right after Alabama picked up the double overtime victory against the Arkansas Razorbacks. So we start the conversation talking about that game, and then we kind of end the conversation taking a look at what's ahead for Alabama basketball this season. I think you'll enjoy this conversation with one of the true leaders of the Crimson Tide, Houston Mallette. Roll Tide and welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roger Hoover, please be joined by Houston Mallette. We're at our LH Healthcare Advantage Center podcast studio. Houston, Roll Tide, congratulations, first of all, on the last time we saw you guys in Tuscaloosa, a double overtime win against Arkansas. How much fun was that game?
Oh, it was amazing. It's probably my favorite game I think I've ever played in. Favorite game I've been a part of, though, was the Auburn win last year when Mark hit the game winner. But I mean, it was an incredible atmosphere. The environment was rocking. We just were resilient, and we just came, and no matter how much we were down, we had an intense halftime talk, not just with Coach Oats and the staff, but like us as players. Like we got pretty animated. Like we gotta figure this out. This is a big time win that we need to somehow get. And our whole mentality was like, whatever we got to do to win this game, we're just gonna do it one possession at a time. And our group, I'm proud of like our leadership and just the whole group from top down. I think it was incredible.
You mentioned the crowd, and the loudest moments we heard were in overtime when you hit a three-pointer, and the first overtime, second overtime as well. Just walk me through those two shots you hit, because they were so critical to Alabama getting the win.
Yeah, I told Coach Oates after the game, I appreciate him sticking with me throughout that game. Obviously, like making those shots are big, and it was a lot of fun. Like it meant a lot because like all the time and the hours you put into your craft and all the time in the gym. But like my favorite part about it was like just like my teammates, like it felt like everyone made that shot or like hit those two shots. And you know, Barron down the stretch, I mean, he was incredible. It felt like the whole crowd, it was like almost everybody in there was like in sync as one. Like we all felt that in that moment. And it was just amazing. Like it was incredible. You kind of dream of it as a little kid. Like if I were to tell my like 8-year-old self, like, man, you hit two shots in overtime and, you know, go down the stretch in a top 25 matchup, like he would probably just smile. But I mean, I think it was a lot of fun. We've been talking about like this Bible verse throughout chapel, and like kind of Trelly and I are like kind of like biblical partners right now. We're on like a similar road, and like the road or the verse that we talk about is Galatians 6:9 is don't grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. And like God promises, like he will provide. You might not know when that is. And you know, it's kind of funny because like when Trelly went off for 7 threes against Mizzou, like when I put my arm around him and I was kind of telling him that, and then to flip it, like to come back here, he told me like the exact same thing. Like you will reap a harvest, like God's will be done, and you know, at his timing. And I don't know, like it was just an incredible environment. I'm just so grateful. I told my teammates and the coaching staff, I'm just grateful.
Yeah, great moments getting that win, getting to celebrate with the student section as well. And again, Coleman was as loud as we've heard it in years. This place. Do you love playing home games here?
Love it. I love it. There's nothing like the script day. I tell people all the time, if I had more eligibility, I'll come back every year. It's special, man. Like it just means more. Like I'm a big Premier League soccer fan, and like they have this thing called where like you die for the badge. Like that badge is bigger than any player, coach, or whatever. Like it's just that badge. And like it's the same way here, like with that script day. Like that script day means the world to people. It means the world to me, and I'm forever indebted to this university and to the people who have made my life and impacted my life in a certain way. And I feel like I have the responsibility to, you know, do the same thing, like impact people. Like basketball is awesome. It's my passion, but my bigger passion is people. And that's the business I'm in, is people, and just trying to impact my teammates and my coaches and, you know, whoever it is top down. I think it's incredible. Like the fans are amazing. I love this place. It's obviously coming to an end. I think the national champion will be crowned in 5 weeks maybe. So this thing is flying by quick, and I don't know. I'm grateful for it all.
It's been an interesting journey for this team this year. Really couldn't get healthy, it seemed like, in November and December. How'd you guys kind of manage all those ups and downs, even you being in and out of the lineup some?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think our team is resilient. Like, one guy I really want to, I mean, I could talk about the whole list, but I think Taylor Bourbon, like, he broke his hand. He messed up something in his leg. You know, he's a soldier, man. Like, he's a trooper. He's played or tried to play every single time. Like LeBaron, I mean, if you look at the entire roster, like our entire roster has missed something. Guys have been out, but like, it's kind of like that next man up mentality. We had Coach Murphy from softball come and talk to our team about Mudita a couple weeks back after we lost to Florida. And like, he talked about Mudita, and he kind of gave like a presentation about it. And I don't know, like, that's like what, in essence, it's about. Like, you got to have vicarious joy for your teammates as if it was your success. Like, that's huge. Like, there's just like a next man up mentality. Everybody's rooting for each other, no matter what the circumstance may be. You know, like, we get an opportunity to go out there and play basketball. It's a privilege. It's not something that's a right. It's a privilege. So whatever we got to do to win games, whether that be this guy's out or maybe this guy's missing some time, like, it's just key that we keep like that Mudita, and like, you can feel it. And I also want to give out a shout out to like Clark Holter, Henry Barrera, and Amanda Branson. Like, people don't understand, like, we've kind of had like a fluke of injuries happen, like kind of like just basketball stuff, nothing that's like preventable almost. And like, I don't know, I get to the gym probably 2 hours before practice, an hour and a half before practice. Like, Clark Holter, our whole training staff, from like Deacon to Emily to Noah to Henry to David, like Amanda, like, they spend so much more hours than like we think about. And like, they're making sure we're hydrated, we're fed correctly, we're on top of our stuff. Like, the treatment's insane. Like, Clark Holter's probably there more than 12 hours a day, like at the facility. Like, we're trying to get right, and it's good to see guys back healthy and kind of taking that upward trend to March. Like, now's the time to start playing your best basketball. And I think we're starting to get healthier than we've been.
Yeah, and that staff doing their best to make sure you guys can play at your best. Nate Oats is always looking for a winning edge as well, and that included bringing back Charles Bediako for 5 games earlier this season. First of all, what was it like when Coach talked about the possibility of Charles playing, and then what do you think the impact is of Charles Bediako on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I love Chuck. Like, I understand there's a ton of different narratives out there. The system is obviously broken, as Coach Oates said. I mean, we have Europeans playing who played pro. Like, I don't see a difference why Chuck should not be able to have the same opportunity as others. You know, I think there should be a kind of like a blanket of like what's allowable, what's not. But with that being said, like, people don't understand the type of person Chuck is. Like, when Coach, he talked to us about it, and he was like, look, I'm going to look out for our guys. He's like, if any of you were in that position and you had the opportunity to come back and be a part of this, I'm going to look out for you. I love you guys. That was essentially his message, was love. It wasn't about what he could do for us or whatever. Now, granted, he's an incredible basketball player. I mean, having him on the court playing with him is like a game changer. He's amazing, but he's a great person. I don't think anybody in the country like gives him credit for that. Like, the amount of heat he took, like going into Auburn, Florida, and like, he's the nicest guy in the world. He's professional. He's a great teammate. He loves his teammates. He's a great guy to be around. Like, Coach Oates is not going to bring people in the program who like are going to take the program down. Like, Chuck is incredible. I love Chuck, and I respect Coach Oates because Coach Oates is looking out for Chuck. He's looking out for his players, and that's kind of what you want in a coach. Like, who wouldn't want to play for somebody like that? Who wouldn't want to be a part of someone like that, where he's going to look out for you and love you and give you an opportunity and try and help your career and your opportunity. So I love Chuck, though. Obviously, I miss him. He's been hanging around, working out with us, and he's just a great person to have in the locker room. I think we're the same high school class, and I played his brother at Santa Clara, so I was familiar with him before he came. But amazing human being, like top-notch human being.
He really is, and that's very well said.
Mm.
I, of course, I get to work as a sideline reporter, so I get to listen in a lot of the huddles for all the home games you have, and there's so many where, I hear from Coach Adams, I hear from Coach Oates, but I hear from Coach Mallette a ton. It seems like talking to the team, firing them up. Do you enjoy being a vocal leader? Is coaching something you could see yourself doing down the road?
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to do. I think my favorite part of basketball is like seeing the progress and the impact you can have on somebody's life while also being impacted in a way. And like, that's what I feel like my whole role is. Like, I've been fortunate to play over probably, I don't even know, maybe 120 plus basketball games, probably close to 130 games in my basketball career. And like, it's a blessing. And like, what I take from that is like, I think what I do best is like energy, like being a spark plug. I think that's what I was put on this earth to do, is to like breathe life into people. I think that's what God has called me to be, is like someone who loves people. I live by this word called agape, which is unconditional love. It's God's love for us. It's God's love for Christ. It's essentially why Jesus died, for his love for us. It's unconditional. And like, I try to do that the best way I can. And that's like getting guys fired up. It's just breathing life into people. And that's essentially why I want to coach. And I want to coach in college specifically because like the amount of growth I've had from 18 to, what am I now, 22, like is mind blowing. Like if I were to look back at my 18-year-old self and see how Coach Romar, my former coach, and Coach Oats and all the coaches I've had like impact my life, including my high school coach, like it's a blessing. Like these are formative years for like young males, young females. So I don't know, it's something I want to do. Like I enjoy it a lot. Like I enjoy seeing like London, who maybe wasn't in the rotation as much at the beginning of the year, now a starter and like really playing like his best basketball, and seeing like Amari grow and mature, and like Barron's maturity and like how much better he's gotten over like the past 2 years now that I've been with him. Like it's incredible. And like, that's where I get my joy. That's what fills my cup, is seeing the success of other people. Like, I mean, Trelly's ability to battle, like we talked about injuries earlier, like he suffered probably one of the worst injuries you can have as a basketball player last year. To see him and what his work and his regiment looks like every day for that whole year of recovery, and then to battle different things this year and to still come in and still fight and still be a leader and still like put his best foot forward. Like, I don't know, that's inspiring. And it's something that I love to look at. But yeah, all those guys, that's something I definitely want to do. Like, it's fun. Like, I don't know, I just get joy in it.
I can definitely see it. How you mentioned the impact of all these different coaches in your life. How about your dad, a longtime college sports administrator, now the deputy AD at South Carolina?
Yeah, it's actually cool. Obviously, they're playing the women's team today. He's not in town, but he was like my role model growing up. Like, I think it's so vital for like, as a young kid, like as a male, like to have a father figure in your life, because like he challenged me. Like I looked up to my dad a lot. My dad had been working in college athletics, and I understand like when I was little, like I got to catch a 40-yard touchdown pass from Jared Goff, you know what I mean? Play one-on-one with Jaylen Brown, and like shoot, even watch Missy Franklin swim. Like I was around so many high level athletes at Cal. Like it's what I looked up to. And I thought my dad was like the coolest person in the world, because he gets to work with these athletes every day. And it's something that inspired me. And I don't know, I love my dad. Like my dad's changed my life. My dad is the best person, I think, the best leader I think I've ever been around. And he's just so good. Like I look at him in awe, like at like breathing life into people, because he's in the people business. And you know, I feel like I'm a representation of him, and I love him. He's the man. So he coached me in football growing up. Like none of my family is basketball except me and like now my little sisters. My dad was football. He played football at James Madison. So he knows what it takes. So I've been blessed and fortunate with having really good perspective. Like my dad has phenomenal perspective, but he's the man.
Absolutely. Well, for Alabama basketball, you're the man this season. And again, we're winding down the weeks. You mentioned it's not too far off now from when the national championship is going to be played, let alone the SEC, the NCAA tournament. Yeah. What are you going to pour into this team over the next stretch?
Everything I have. I believe got to be all in. Like everything, every ounce of energy I possibly have, I want to pour into this team, even if that means I don't play. Like I just want everybody to know, like, this opportunity is niche. Like the team's going to look entirely different next year. Every year your team's different. Like you never really have the same exact team. You never have the same exact coaches. I was pretty close with Coach Pannone, and Coach Pannone's now Arkansas State. And I don't know, man, that's kind of crazy. It's surreal because it's coming to an end. Like I don't have any more eligibility after this. So it's like, I just want to pour life into my teammates, and I just want my teammates to know I was like the best teammate. I was never going to have, like, I tell people this all the time, like the nickname that I guess BA calls me is like no off switch, because I'm never turning the switch off. It's always on. No matter what it is I'm feeling, if I'm upset, if I'm down, whatever, like it's my job, it's my calling to pour life into this team and see how far we can go. And I don't know, I have phenomenal teammates, I have phenomenal coaches. Like I don't think there's anybody that prepares the way we do. And I'm just excited to keep this thing going and keep the momentum moving forward. I'm grateful.
We're excited for this journey. Houston Mallette, thank you so much for the time you've given us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. All the best. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Fans, there's no better way to experience Alabama basketball than with our live basketball booth cams presented by NASCAR. Streaming live during all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this season, you'll get a front row seat to all the great reactions from our radio crew as the big plays happen for the Crimson Tide. Make sure you follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at UA_CTSN, especially subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss a single basketball booth cam this season. Again, presented by NASCAR for all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this year.
Go Holloway, a deep three, bottom. Mercy from 30 feet out, dead on. Holloway with 25, and Bama leads it by 14.
The booth cam will be up and running coming up tomorrow for Alabama and Mississippi State. Make sure you check it out on all of our social media platforms. And even when the Crimson Tide are on the road, we have radio highlights for you, including Chris Stewart on the call for Alabama's win this past Saturday against LSU. Let's listen back to the great moments against the Tigers.
Now works it beyond the arc, goes back down the lane, kicks it out Sherrill, top of the arc, all alone, three, bottom. Love the big man when he gets his feet set. He's got a really nice touch. Holloway behind the back with a dribble, gets into the paint, gets to the block, kicks it out to Mallette, to Sherrill, who hands it off to Allen. Amari from deep, bottom. Oh, a deep bank first three right there. 10-point game. Here's Holloway the other direction. Holloway to Jemison for three, bottom. That's a big make right there. Tied up, gives it out. Jemison, three, no good. Rebound again by Mallette, and he gets fouled. What a play, Houston Mallette. Amari from the top of the arc, driving, gets into the paint. Runner off the glass, no. Jemison, yes. Came flying in, slammed it home, and the Crimson Tide leads it now 85-75 with 1:04 to go. Don't foul. Nate Oats with a handshake and a lot of respect for the Tiger head coach, but it's the Crimson Tide that's going to get out with a 90-83 win over the Tigers here in Baton Rouge, Alabama, with the victory, improving on the season now to 20-7 overall. A sixth straight win in the league puts Alabama now at 10-4 in SEC play. Again, it's 90-83 your final. Bama over LSU.
My name's Ada Sherrill, and you're watching Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR.
Great moments for the men's basketball team. Great moments as well for Kristy Curry and the Crimson Tide women's basketball team, picking up that 76-71 win at Gainesville on Sunday. After the game was over, she joined me on the Crimson Tide Sports Network to give her thoughts on an impressive win for Alabama and a career night for Jessica Timmons.
Coach, Roll Tide, a deep breath after a thriller we saw against the Gators.
Yeah, just absolutely incredibly proud. You know, just thought our kids really embraced hard. I think Florida is as talented. They're really talented. 4 McDonald's All-Americans, and I know their record's a little bit deceiving, but they're incredibly talented. And to me, probably the best point guard in the league, one of the top 2 or 3. She's really hard to defend. So a huge road win. I'm just so happy for our kids, man. They've been fighting and working and staying at it hard. You know, it's called the SEC, and I'm just so happy for them today to get a win. That's just all we needed was a win.
Crimson Tide get 7 3-pointers made by Jessica Timmons, a new career high, 34 points. Tamia Scott, 21 points. How did those players just keep you going offensively in this game?
I thought Jess's leadership, Carly's leadership and huddles, the positivity, just so happy for them. You know, we found ways to make plays, and Jess certainly made play after play. And you keep going to her. If the well's not dry, you want to keep going. So I thought they did a nice job of finding her. We weathered a lot of foul trouble, really physical game. Some like phantom stuff there at the start of the fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, we just weathered a lot of adversity, and I'm so proud with how they embraced it today.
And then defensively, how were you able to get stops on this Florida team that made a lot of baskets in the third quarter, but not much down the stretch in the fourth?
Yeah, I mean, just thought we did a much better job. It's a really hard guard of heavy gap and changing our defenses. We were trying to keep her a little bit off rhythm and out of sync, and I thought our kids did a nice job of communicating and being on the same page. I thought Naomi, Lancey, Tiana Wise, just everybody ace off our bench. I thought our bench really helped us today.
And just overall, big picture, how meaningful is it to see the leadership you were looking to see come to fruition in a game like this?
Yeah, I'm just happy for them because they just, as hard as it's been, and we've had a couple of bumps in the road with top 10 opponents, they've just gone back to work every day. I mean, I'm so proud for this team today because they truly are all in, and we've had some poor quarters here lately and done some things a little uncharacteristic, but a lot of that's due to who we've been playing, and we just got to continue to work and get better. And I'm so happy for them today handling adversity because didn't deserve to come out of here with a loss. They've been going to work every day.
They really have been. So a great win today, and now, as you mentioned, it's life in the SEC. Tough road coming up, starting with Vanderbilt on Thursday night. I know this is a huge week for your basketball team, but it's really nice to have some momentum going into it.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's so important. We're excited about the opportunity this week presents. It's a really special week for every senior across the country. And, for our seniors, we want to send them out the right way, and that's to take it on the road, to pack the same energy and intensity defensively today, go on the road, and then come back home for senior day. And it's a really big week and a special week, and we need to represent it the way that, the legacy that Jess and Carly and, our senior class is going to leave is how they've been as people. And we need everybody to come out and support them next Sunday, and we need to go on the road and hopefully have a great Alabama crowd up there in Nashville.
We're fired up for it. Coach, thank you for your time. Roll Tide.
Hey, I'm Ace Austin, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Where we at, Braxton? Challenge, pick up, baby. Here we go. And that, and one of those. Oh, that. Oh, a selfie? Hell yeah.
On Monday night, it was time to head to Baumhauer's here in Tuscaloosa for Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. Margot Gear kicked off the program. Also a good conversation with Alabama's Aiden Holloway from the men's basketball team as well. And then it was Nate Oats sitting down with Chris Stewart to discuss the win against LSU. Look ahead to what's coming up this week against Mississippi State and Tennessee. Here's our Hey Coach replay with Nate Oats.
Welcome back, everybody. Chris Stewart with you at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Head Coach Nate Oats is with us, and I'm throwing you a curve here, Coach. I said we're going to take another break. First, we're actually going to keep it right here. Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance, auto, home, life, business. Alpha Insurance covers it all. AlphaInsurance.com. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everything going well?
Everything's going well.
Good.
Good day of practice. We thought guys got after it a little bit, so got a road win, which those are not easy in this league, and got a day off, which well needed with this group. And then we got a good day of practice. Nobody got hurt at practice. I thought we got better. So doing great tonight.
You almost feel like you have to preface everything in regards to practice with that, don't you? Because you've had such a tough year in that regard.
Yeah, I mean it's not been easy with all the injuries, but we've got a group of tough-minded warriors, if you will, that have handled adversity, and we just keep, God's chosen to put us through a little bit of adversity, and we got to handle it. And I think our guys are learning a lot of life lessons on how to handle adversity. A lot of biblical principles you can apply from all different parts of the Bible, but James has been a good one. We're going to handle the adversity. We're going to handle it well, and hopefully, by handling it well, we start to peak here at the end and get healthy, and we don't have as much adversity for moving forward. We hope.
Are you saying, brethren, you've been having a hard time considering it all joy when you experience trials?
I'm trying to consider it all joy, my brother. Trying to have a smile on my face through all of it. But yeah, it's been the most odd year with injuries I've ever been associated with.
One reason you can smile is seeing guys develop and gain that toughness like you're referencing, young man that was sitting in the same seat you're in right now just a few minutes ago. I think Coach is a great example of that. Probably the smallest guy on the floor each time he walks out, but Aiden Holloway growing as a player, but the toughness piece of it, it's not easy, especially when you got a guy that's as good a guy, good heart as Aiden. Sometimes toughness is difficult to teach, but he's getting there pretty rapidly, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, I thought that was his best game, effort-wise, defense, mindset. He was good, very good. You know, nobody's ever perfect, but that was as good as he's played on that end of the floor. And if he continues to play that hard, that well, that tough on the defense, I mean, he's one of the most skilled players I've ever coached on the offensive end. I mean, his shot-making ability, his ball handling, his passing is elite. If he can play that hard and that good on defensive end of the floor, and, you know, we can get Phylon healthy and get him playing that hard on the defensive end of the floor, we've got something to be had here.
Since last week when we talked on this show, you had 2 games that were very, very different, and yet, Coach, I thought in their own way equally impressive in terms of how you got them done. It's easy to get up at home for a game against a ranked team like Arkansas, but when you go double OT and win it in as dramatic fashion as you did, then to go on the road and face a team that, when kids are human, they look at the record, it's 2-11, it's not good, but you see LSU on film as you did and in person as we all did, that's a very tough team that just hadn't had very good fortune this year.
No, they're good. They got talent. I mean, shoot, you look at some of the games they lost. They lost at Arkansas by 4. They lost at home to Kentucky on that full court, you know, pass, buzzer beater, you know, tough, and they had to come back. Kentucky came back from quite a few down. They went to Texas and lost by 3 the game before that. So they've been in a lot of games in our league and played a lot of teams tough. So coming off a double overtime, very emotional win, could have easily gone the wrong way. Our guys showed a lot of fight, a lot of toughness, a lot of maturity, I thought. So I think we're coming. You know, you want to be peaking the end of February and March, and we're on a 6-game winning streak, and we got to continue to keep getting better at the things we got to get better at. But our guys have shown a maturity that I think's, you know, going to keep us heading in the right direction here.
Coach, the Arkansas game, as we talked about on your television show last week, about as special a regular season game as I've seen. I get asked, you know, when you're old like me, you get asked about games and over a long period of time. That one's, I don't know where it ranks right now, but it's a top 10 easily, maybe top 5. It's pretty special.
That was yeah. We gave up 115 and still somehow won the game. So I'm sure it was great for the fans. It was great to get a win in a game like that. But
right.
Second highest scoring output in Coleman Coliseum behind P. Maravich. That's not a fun one to be on the wrong side of. The one good thing is we still got the win. So,
right.
You know, able to challenge our guards to guard a little better. Got our scoring average up a little bit on the offensive side, but we got to be better on defense, particularly in the backcourt. And we were, like we said, Holloway was significantly better on Saturday, so it's good. Guys, you know what? We've been able to learn from these wins. You know, the guys have been mature enough to come in. We were on a 6-game winning streak. You know, we've been able to win, and still they realize there's a lot we got to get better at. That was one of those games where there's a lot we got to get better at, but it's great to learn from a win.
All right, Coach, let's go to the phones. Our first call, as always, brought to us by Alabama 811. Prevent injuries, outages, loss of life. Call 811 or visit al811.com before you dig. It's free. It's simple. It's the law. It's tradition. It's the first call. It's Pee Wee down in Grand Bay. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great, Pee Wee. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Coach, y'all been talking a lot about, you know, all the injuries that we faced this year and the adversity and all of that has come with that. And I'm just wondering, you know, you've got a team of players that have been willing to do pretty much whatever they have been required to do, maybe not getting the minutes that they get or would like to get, but playing in the specific roles that you need them to play. I'm just curious, when you have a whole team of guys like that, how easy or how much easier does that make your job as far as coaching these guys?
It's significantly easier, and you're 100% right. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, probably expected to play more, that had higher expectations, that for whatever reason, whether it was injuries, and on a lot of guys it was injuries this year. Like, Taylor, I thought Taylor was really starting to play great basketball, playing tough, hard, exactly what we needed, and then he broke his hand, had leg injury, had all, his attitude, he never went sour on us. Noah Williamson hasn't played up to maybe expectations that some people, but what we need, and his attitude's great. I met with him today. I love Noah. We need to keep supporting these guys. We can't be, the fans don't know what the players are going through, whether it be physically, mentally, the whole deal. They need to support our guys and just do everything they can to get the best out of these guys, and that's not, they can let me get on the guys. They don't need to be the ones getting on them. They need to just support them and be encouraging, and that's what they need. So right now, as a coach, I couldn't have a better group of guys to coach. Like Jaleel Bethea, high expectations, broke his foot, missed so many reps that, and didn't quite get him as good at what he needed to in our system, what we needed to. And his attitude's been unbelievably great. Like, love the kid. Like, and you know what? He may have to play more against Mississippi State, depending on stuff that happens. He's got size and athleticism. Maybe he's going to end up being a good matchup on Hubbard, because Hubbard's been going crazy with his numbers lately. So we're going to have plenty of guards available to guard him. Holloway looked a lot better against LSU. Bethea's got length, athleticism. We've used guys like that before on some of these guards. Trelly's been great, tough, physical, just all of them. So, you go through the different guys who maybe don't start. I mean, you look at the guys we bring off the bench right now. Reitzel, Houston, Mallette, Taylor. 3 guys, upperclassmen, that are all starter worthy. None of them complain. Matter of fact, all of them have offered, just do whatever we need to do for the team to win. So great group of guys, love coaching them. Really makes it easier, when you got older guys doing it, show the younger guys how they should be responding to some adversity. And I really like our group, and hopefully we can continue to build and hit our stride as we head towards March.
Back to the phones we go, Coach, and another familiar name. He's up in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, but always coming to a Bama game near you because he's the most traveled of our fans. Morgan, go ahead with Coach, buddy.
Hey, Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. You got some guys cheering for you here, Morgan. It was pretty cool, man. It's so cool to see Morgan at all the games. He was right there after LSU. Those are not short trips he makes either. So awesome to see you at all the road games and the home games too. So great you called in for a question, Morgan.
I appreciate that, Coach. I got 2 if it's okay.
Go ahead, buddy.
The first one, before the LSU game, you had called it a maturity test for the team. After surviving their late run in a road environment, do you feel the team's chemistry is peaking at the right time, especially compared to the first time we played state when we had to overcome that early 14-point deficit? And my second one is Houston was instrumental about with those 2 offensive rebounds late against LSU. In a physical game like Mississippi State, how critical is his veteran leadership and his veteran voice in the huddle when things get gritty and the shots aren't falling?
Yeah, so 2 good questions. The Houston one, look, those 2 offensive rebounds at that point in the game, huge. They'd cut it, made it close. They had, and then I think you watch a guy like London, because as soon as he got that second board, he jumped up, called the timeout before he went out of bounds. And I said to London, you going to go get one? We need you to go get one. And he went and got himself a couple tip dunks. So I think, Houston's maturity, toughness, fight, we're going to need it because Mississippi State's big. Kind of going back to kind of the chemistry with the guys. The first time at Mississippi State, getting down 14. Back then, we were struggling. We've struggled at various times during the year. We just had a lot of injuries. Chemistry was I wouldn't say it's bad like we had bad guys. We never had it like that. It's just it's hard to have great playing chemistry when you're not playing together much because you can't practice and guys aren't in. So we just tried to go all in on just let's control the stuff we can control at that Mississippi State game. We were not good early, particularly on the offensive end. Got down 14, guys hung in there, made a big comeback. And I think, this year, I shouldn't say this year, this game we're playing them, hopefully we're a little bit more in sync on the offensive end, but we got to be better defensively. And whatever happens, Hubbard can make some tough shots. We just got to hang in there, and keep doing what we've been doing.
So you got this one, and then it's on the road to Knoxville. Just a quick word there. I know you got a game to worry about first, but if you take care of business against State, that's another one where you're battling a team that's got the same record you do and has obviously gotten us once already.
Yeah, they played well at home. They're tough. They're physical like usual. They've got great players. Nate Ament kind of destroyed us. We're going to have a lot better defense on him. We're going to have to do a better job handling their physicality, which we didn't do a great job of. So, we got to be significantly better against them. And it's going to be tough on the road. That's one last year up there. Felt like we played tough enough to win it. I didn't do a good enough job getting us to the finish line in that one. I need to be better up there this year, but our players are going to have to really answer the bell with it as far as toughness goes.
Hi, my name is Amari Allen, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
We'll hear Coach give his final word of the night coming up in just a moment as we take a look at our upcoming schedule. It's a busy time here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. That includes later today with the softball team taking on UAB at 4 o'clock. We look forward to listening to Tom Canterbury, Gray Robertson on the call for that. I'll be in Hattiesburg with the baseball team coming up later tonight. 5:45 will be the airtime for that 6 p.m. first pitch from Hattiesburg, Alabama against Southern Miss. Then the men's basketball team tomorrow takes center stage against Mississippi State. Remember, our radio coverage starts at 7 o'clock, and we will have the basketball booth cam as well, presented by NASCAR on these same social media platforms you're watching this show. Then the women's basketball team will hit the road on Thursday, take on Vanderbilt, 6:30 the tip-off. Our coverage will start at 6:15 across the network. Then it's Alabama softball hosting that Crimson Classic. It's presented by T-Mobile. St. Thomas, the first opponent at 4 o'clock. USF later in the evening at 6:30. Baseball team will be out in Frisco, Texas. They'll be taking on Iowa coming up on Friday at 6. And then Oregon State at 4 on Saturday. And then they'll round out play Sunday at 3 against Houston. Softball, another doubleheader on Saturday. The men's basketball team at Tennessee, a 4 o'clock airtime for that 5 p.m. tip-off in Knoxville. And then it'll be an early start for women's basketball on Sunday with the 11 a.m. tip-off against Texas. Make sure you're in your seats early. Senior Day festivities will be held before the ball game for this outstanding senior class. Softball with one game to wrap up the Crimson Classic. And then again, the baseball team against Houston at 3 in Frisco, Texas. And then we'll be back at Baumhower's on Monday night for Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show. Catch all of that coming up here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Again, make sure you follow us, all of our social media platforms. You get final scores, you'll get interview clips from Crimson Drive, game highlights as well, all right there, including the next edition of this show, Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Again, follow us on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's going to wrap up this busy Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Thank you to Ethan Carabin, our video producer, who put this entire show together, as well as interview clips with Houston Mallette. He recorded that interview, put together all of our highlights that you saw on the show as well, including time with Nate Oats and Chris Stewart last night at Baumhower's for Hey Coach. Here is Coach Oats with his final word of the night, presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental, as we say goodbye on this Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
You got a final word for us?
Yeah, I like a lot of support. Love the fact that guys have been out. We only have 2 home games left, so let's make sure that this Mississippi State one, we do not have a 6 o'clock excuse. It's an 8 o'clock tip, correct? So
correct.
By the time the ball tips, that place should be packed, supporting us. It's going to be a huge game as far as our seeding in the SEC tournament goes. We need that one. And then when we come back on the last game of the regular season of the year against Auburn, sure, I don't need to convince you guys to show up for the Auburn game, but let's make sure we're supporting our guys every which way possible. And, I like where we're at. We're getting healthier. Our guys are good. Let's make sure we keep it as positive as we can. We're on a 6-game winning streak with dealing with a lot of injuries. So we're headed the right direction come March. We need to be peaking come March, and I think we're headed the right direction right now.
It's final word from Coach Oats, presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Coach, thanks for the time as always.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Roll
Appreciate
Tide.
you. Roll Tide indeed.